exploded onto the scene. Brittany and Justin were in sync, know what I mean? Steven Tyler screamed he didn't want to miss a thing. Back when Carson Daly dominated the screen. Back a couple decades before I felt old. Before Janet Jackson had a whole nipple exposed. Whoa. Hold up, whoa Nelly. Dr. Dre is scheduled to be featured on my telly. This about to be the best, there's nothing you can tell me. A heavy dose of nostalgia, no better way to sell me. Just then, a panic falls. I think I need to get my friends Frank and Jan and Cole. There's no way it will be better than the TRL show. Kane and DB, hell no. Hype beats will get fed for show. Time to level my expectations still low. They were once real high, gotta make them real low. Hit them with the Dillo. They were once real high, gotta make them real low. Hit them with the Dillo. And now I know that whenever my expectations get too high, I need to Dillo them. I need to Dillo those expectations. Because what could possibly deliver to the hype that's in my mind? Nothing.
It's Theme Park Thursday Live with Dillos Diz. Featuring Frank. And Jen.
This is Theme Park Thursday Live with Dillos Diz. She is Jen.
Hello.
Still making her second round picks and hashtag Dillos Madness.
Literally doing the entire thing during the intro. I had two left. I was like, can I do it?
And I am Frank for the next 30 minutes. This is Theme Park Thursday Live, where generally we talk about 3 topics or subjects that we did not discuss on the Theme Park Thursday podcast this week. That dropped about an hour ago. We took the hour to discuss the permanent closure of the ESPN Club. We throw a little Throwback Thursday in there with our 2020 interview with Mark and John, who are the longtime hosts of the ESPN Club. And we review a little bit of the Cake Bake Shop menu that's over in California.
Mm-hmm.
So check that out on all your favorite podcatchers. Following this live stream, we take it over to DillosDizResort.com. DillosDizResort.com. That's our Patreon. We have levels beginning as low as $1 per month. That $1 gets you into our one-channel Discord. That's where all the magic happens, in that one-channel Discord. The higher tiers get you more access to the crazy things that we do along the way. But the post show is at the $5 quiet pool level, just as an FYI. As mentioned, we are going to give you our second round picks in the Dillos Diz. My favorite thing about Disney ever this year, March Madness Mania Pool Horn. That was a dragging car down the road here in Queens, New York.
Perfect timing.
The horn. But that bracket has been available for a couple of weeks. Of course, you can get your bracket by emailing us, dillosdiz@gmail.com. 64 animatronic contenders this year. Pick your winner, hashtag Dillos Madness. Submit your bracket by next Thursday, the 24th. You get to enter to win a Disney gift card. There's one prize for the general public of the universe. And if you check into DillosDizResort.com by next Thursday, the 24th, you get 2 entries. You get an entry for the general public of the universe, and you get a entry for resort guests. So make sure to request your bracket while there's still time.
Yes.
March Madness begins today, I think. Actual March Madness.
I've been noticing that. I was like, oh, it doesn't begin March 1st. What do I know? Know nothing about March Madness.
Before we get into our second round picks, I think it's important to discuss one big news item that literally happened an hour after we recorded Theme Park Thursday on Tuesday morning. So why don't we just bring that up on screen right now? Is it there? Are we looking at it?
Yes. Cue anger from inside out, pushing all the anger emotions.
So it was announced on Tuesday morning that the Spirit of Aloha show over at the Luau Cove at the Polynesian was closing permanently. And in its place would come this new DVC related building. I'm so happy they didn't use the word sleek in the description. So let's start there. Look, Jen, do you recall ever seeing the Spirit of Aloha show?
No, but I wanted to.
Yeah, I do not recall it either.
I think we did though. There are pictures. There are
I
pictures
don't
in the
know.
Brown album.
In the Brown, are you sure?
Yes.
We'll have to confirm that. I don't
Mhm.
buy it.
Mhm.
I only recall going to a church service in the Luau Cove on a
wow.
Sunday with Nanny Dillo because I was very Catholic and must have been looking for some points or something with Nanny Dillo on a Sunday morning back in
Mhm.
the late 80s. One time we did
One
that
time.
over it. I actually think that was like the year we stayed at Fort Wilderness, and I was like, I want to go to the Polynesian, and that might have been the only reason. I don't want any mean tweets. I don't want to. So here we go. In the Luau Cove area, that's all going away. These new DVC rentals. I don't know how this impedes the pathway between the Floridian and the Poly. What do I walk through here? I know our friend Adam was concerned about how do you walk from the Great Ceremonial House to this? Do you walk through the long houses? What happens? But I think in the overall, I see a lot of conversation about, maybe the Mary Poppins attraction in Epcot will happen. Maybe we'll get some of the attractions that got tabled because of the pandemic. And so when you hear those kind of maybe Mary Poppins, but then you see, oh, by the way, we're building this other thing that's going to generate a lot of revenue, which I get it. It's a business. It's a corporation. They need money after being closed during the pandemic. Do we need this?
No.
Jen, I know you read up on it a little bit more.
I'm not happy. Okay, first off, so yeah, we don't have like, oh, we have such fond memories of the luau. However, it was on a list. It was on a bucket list to take the kids to see it. I did. We had talked about it, all that kind of stuff. I also don't like the idea of taking things away that bring in entertainers to Walt Disney World.
Mhm.
And I think this was very on brand for the Polynesian. It brought you into the experience of the Polynesian. It provided just that whole vibe, and it was something in addition to that. And now let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of those entertainers. Let's get rid of a dinner show that's unique to Disney. And let's put up yet another monstrosity of rooms to bring in more people and have less space. I honestly feel, after seeing this picture yesterday, that this specific building will be #NotMyPoly, because this doesn't look like the Polynesian. What is this? So I'm a little upset about it. It just changes. It changes a lot, and we don't love change. I just feel like it changes the whole vibe and aesthetic and the whole thing of the Poly.
Right. So I think a couple of things within what you said here. One is we weren't contemporary people, so we didn't have the same strong reaction to when they were going to build Bay Lake Tower. Though, deep down, there's still some feelings, but an overwhelming success for people who stay there, who visit there. Dr. Jacqueline goes there. Like Tom and Michelle from Hyperion Adventures go there. Love it. So again, I'm not going to negate those experiences for them, but I know that when it was being built, I was like, whoa, this is crazy. For the Poly, when they built the bungalows, as much as it was taking away a little bit of the view of the Magic Kingdom, it was within the style of the rest of the resort.
Yes.
So I wince a little bit at the for lack of a better term, Waikiki Beach feel.
Mm-hmm.
I saw this called did Ryan call it like the like the Halapali? What do you call it? The Holiday Inn, the Holiday Inn on on our Discord. So I think that's where I am with it right now. I don't know if I would have felt the same if the exterior of the building was more in line with the rest of the resort. So that's where my biggest wince is.
Yeah, that's true. Because it's not like they haven't changed over some of the older rooms to be DVC now, and like you said, they added the bungalows and all that. But it all still felt like it. This, to me, here we go. Here's another building, just like they put like, let's Coronado Resort. Let's just add a building right in front of it, and that's now the like just these things that they're doing that then. You're not staying in the like the branding and the niche and all of
the
it.
theming,
The theming, all of it.
Mhm.
So yeah, I don't love it. Jeffer says, "What happened to we don't have any money to invest because of the pandemic?" And
Well,
yet, here's this.
yeah, the Coronado Tower, obviously, I think that's been successful for people who have experienced it as well. But, not exactly Disney related. But we look at that Swan Reserve like, whew,
Ugh, that's the worst.
what's
That
going
is
on?
the worst.
Yeah, I think we probably could go on this for a full half hour, but we won't because we have to get to Dillo's Madness. The Dillos is my favorite thing about Disney ever this year, March Madness Mania Pool. I think I have some of the brackets here, so rather than pulling up the video again this week, we're going to look at some, speaking of Jeffers, here's a Jeffers bracket right here. So let's go for our second round picks, Jen. Just to review the Magic Kingdom bracket, it was Wendy. No, I'm going to start at the top. Lincoln versus Tigger. It was Big Al versus Wendy at Peter Pan's Flight. Captain Jack in the finale scene of Pirates versus Hook and Crocodile. John and Rover versus Three Pirates in a Prison Dog. I almost hit that. Wow, I really went there today. It's raining outside, people. Uncle Orville versus Lumiere. Sunny Eclipse versus It's a Small World cast. Tiki Room cast versus the Bathing Elephant of Jungle Cruise. And the Beating Heart Bride versus the Grave Digger. Jen, why don't you review your first round pick choices and then who you picked for the second round?
Sure. So you want me to go through all of MK?
Yeah, just in the Magic Kingdom. Just in the,
sure.
in the Magic Kingdom, yeah.
So first up, I had picked Tigger, Wendy, Hook, John and Rover, Uncle Orville, Small World cast, Bathing Elephant, and the Beating Heart Bride. Those were my first round picks.
All right. So then let's see if you fall in line here for the second round. Who did you pick?
Second round, Tigger and Wendy went Wendy.
Wendy over Tigger.
Yes. Who did you go with?
I went with, I had, just a review, I had gone Lincoln, Wendy, Hook and Croc, Three Pirates in a Prison Dog. I did it again. Wowzers. Uncle Orville, Small World cast, Bathing Elephant, and Grave Digger.
And you did small.
Small. I did. What is happening today? I'm tired. Lincoln versus Wendy. I went Wendy in kind of an upset, I think. That was the last one I picked when I did my second round picks.
All right. Next up, Hook versus John and Rover. I went John and Rover.
In Hook and Croc versus Three Pirates and a Prison Dog, I went Three Pirates and a Prison Dog.
Nice. Can you zoom in on Jeffers' picks here? We need more attention to Jeffers, and I
can zoom in because it's not a PDF.
Okay, so. That's fine.
Jeffers' second round so far, he has Wendy on the plank and John and Rover.
Okay. Oh, so we're eye to eye, Jeffers. All right. Uncle Orville versus Small World cast. I went Small World cast.
I went Uncle Orville over the Small World cast.
Nice. Yeah. That one was a little bit tough. And then I'm like, again, you get the whole cast. It's hard.
There was a gut reaction. And probably if I thought about it, I would have flipped it.
Yeah. And then Bathing Elephant versus Beating Heart Bride. I went Bathing Elephant.
I had Grave Digger and the Bathing Elephant, and I went with the Grave Digger because I love the Grave Digger a whole lot.
And anytime we say Grave Digger, my Dave Matthews side comes out, and I start to Grave Digger.
They dig my grave. All right, let's see what we got here. There's a lot of noise going outside my apartment during this today. Oh, what's happening here?
I have some Elena of Avalor in the background because the 5-year-old is homesick. So I'm like, sometimes, I'm like, can everyone hear that?
Can you see? What can you see right now?
Just a email of theme park Rob.
Okay.
But not.
There's a lot going on here. I don't know what's happening. I'm going to put up theme park Robs for the Epcot bracket.
Will you?
Stand by.
If everyone recalls our last live where Frank jinxed himself about freezing during our recording for Theme Park Thursday, on Tuesday also froze as well. And so he's just jinxed himself all around.
All around.
Yes,
all right. So this is Theme Park Rob here. Let's go down to Epcot.
Mm-hmm.
So, Jen, just to review the matchups, Dreamfinder versus Figment. Dreamfinder and Figment versus Manhole Guy from World of Motion. This is a past, present, and future of Epcot bracket. Ben Franklin and Mark Twain from The American Adventure versus Michelangelo. The Phoenicians versus Buzzy over In Wonders of Life. Sweater Figment, pick your sweater, that's your choice, versus Sven's tongue stuck in Frozen, what the heck is it called? Frozen's Adventure, whatever the heck it is. The Maelstrom Trolls versus the Spaceship Earth Paperboy.
Pick your Paperboy as well, everybody.
Yeah. Oh, the history of the Paperboy. The Spaceship Earth Engineer versus the Three Caballeros. The Robot Butler on Horizons versus Anna and Elsa in the finale. And the Let It Go Elsa versus the Underwater family from Horizons. Jen, review your picks.
All right. I had Dreamfinder versus Michelangelo, however you say it. I went Dreamfinder and Figment.
Okay.
What did you do for that?
I had also Dreamfinder and Figment versus Michelangelo, and this was a tough one for me because I love the Michelangelo scene. I love the Sistine ceiling. I probably, if Mrs. Dillo didn't drag me out of the Sistine Chapel, I probably would still be standing there staring at it 8 years later. So I went with Dreamfinder and Figment.
Yes. Next up, I had Phoenicians versus Sweater Figment, and this time I went Phoenicians.
Phoenicians versus Figment. I went with Sweater Figment. Very hard to pick against Figment.
I know, but because I went Dreamfinder Figment, I figured I would change. It's kind of like the John and Rover and the Uncle, or like I'm trying to keep it. I don't know. Then next up, I had Paperboy versus the Spaceship Earth Engineer. And I chose Paperboy, but that's my Paperboy, everybody. That is facing forward, going extra, New York Daily. That is not faceless back of Paperboy. That's not hashtag.
And what
does
he say?
Boy.
What does he say?
Hey, get your paper. Hey, get your paper.
I also went with the Paperboy. This was actually a tough one for me because the Paperboy has been turned around for so long now.
I know.
I don't know. I feel like it's weighing down the years that he faced us.
Yes. And then I had the Robot Butler versus the Underwater family. So basically Horizons versus Horizons for me. And I went with the Underwater family.
You went with the Underwater family over the Robot Butler. I feel like that's a bit of a upset. I went with the Robot Butler there as well. Let me see what little bracket I have. I got to make sure because I thought everything was ready to go, and clearly it's not ready to go. So this is, let me confirm whose this is. This is our friend Skipper Bob. We'll take it over to the AK Studios bracket here.
Where we did not show that we are AK haters at all.
That's correct. Not AK haters. Let's share the screen, by God. I think this is the one here. Let me know if you see it.
Yes, we see it.
Can I zoom it? Can I zoom this one? Yeah, that's a little better. 200%. How about 200%?
200% for Skipper Bob.
Jen, let's review. You had Navi River Shaman versus Bean Bunny. We had I can't do it. I can't scroll as well when it's this big. Statler and Waldorf versus Hopper from the Bug's Life. It's Tough to Be a Bug. We had DJ Rex versus Wheezy. BB-8 over at Rise of the Resistance versus Kylo Ren. The Yeti versus Lightning McQueen. There are so many car horns outside my window.
I won't hear them.
That's good. Mr. Potato Head versus the Swedish Chef. 3PO in the Star Tours queue versus the Carnotaurus. And Hondo Onaka versus Flick. Jen, let's go.
All right, so I had Bean Bunny versus Statler and Waldorf, which, I mean, this is an unfair matchup that I did to myself here. And really, my gut said Statler and Waldorf, but because of the beginning of Theme Park Thursday, where I say, I had to go Bean Bunny. I have to. Just for that reason alone. But but my gut, God, neither of us can talk today. My gut said Statler and Waldorf.
Bean Bunny is the Cinderella story. Bean Bunny is this year's Tomorrowland Speedway Fumes. I had the Shaman versus Statler and Waldorf, and I went Statler and Waldorf. That's
well, you had to. I mean, you spent too long in the AK. You had to get out of there. Next up, I had DJ Rex versus BB-8, and I went BB-8.
I had Wheezy versus BB-8, and I picked Wheezy. Still love the finale of Slinky Dog Dash.
Yes. Then I had the Yeti versus the Swedish Chef. I think we've also, perhaps next year, when you do the brackets, don't put so many hard things for New Yorkers to say when we're trying to get rid of our accent in here. And I went with the Chef on that one.
It's early. It's raining. We've got 715 recordings this week, so it's fine. You went with who? I'm sorry.
The Chef.
I also went with the Chef over the Yeti here. And then we got 3PO versus did you pick 3PO, right?
That was the same for me. What Skipper Bob has. I had 3PO versus Hondo, and I went 3PO.
Yeah, same. Yeah. So that's where we are there. So Skipper Bob at 3PO, Mr. Potato Head, DJ Rex, and the Navi River Shaman advancing. Thanks for sharing that with us, Skipper Bob. Skipper Bob in both, I should say, Jeffers, Skipper Bob, and
Theme Park
Rob, all in have 2 entries because as Dillos did resort guests. All right, what do I have left here? Do I have one more? Do I have? Oh, I don't have another bracket up. All right, so let's go back to Jeffers then for the finale. I know his is smaller because I can't zoom on his, but let's bring that up for the nostalgia bracket, which does include some of Epcot past as well. So I thought I had more tabs up, and I do not.
Lexi said, by thinking you were ready to go, you essentially jinxed yourself. So
what's that?
By thinking you were ready to go, you jinxed yourself.
No, yeah, I should Dillo my expectations, right? Yeah, it is smaller. It's smaller than the rest, but I understand here. So to review, we got the extra terrestrial. You're right. I gotta keep it simple next year. Versus Tarzan at the Great Movie Ride. A lot of Great Movie Ride representation here. The Scary Adventure Dwarfs versus Stitch from Stitch's Great Escape. Gene Kelly is Singing in the Rain versus the Robo Dog from Space Mountain. The Timekeeper versus a double disqualification. Jeffers, I love it. The Timekeeper versus the Tragedians, as I called them. It's different in Spaceship Earth now when you pass ancient Greece. I think I don't know what they're reading on the right-hand side. I'm just angry that it's not theater actors anymore with their tragedy masks on and things like that. So that's more of an old school Epcot. The Wicked Witch of the West versus Ellen. I got to go through what everyone submitted so far to see if anyone picked Ellen. The Brontos over Universal Energy versus that's Captain Rex. It's Star Tours back in the day. The Evil Queen at the Magic Mirror on Snow White's Scary Adventures versus Mary and Bert in the Great Movie Ride. And the Kitchen Cabaret cast, The Land, way back in the day, versus Iago over at the Tiki Room under new management, much to Lewis's chagrin.
All right, so I had Tarzan versus the Scary Adventure Dwarfs, and I went Tarzan on that one.
I had the extra terrestrial over the dwarfs in this one.
And then, okay, got it. I had Gene Kelly and the Tragedians, and I went Gene Kelly
Gene
because he
Kelly,
just welcomes
same.
you to the great
Yes.
movie ride. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I mean, let's be clear. Once the Busby Berkeley portion stopped spinning,
Yeah,
and they were just a bunch of mannequins on a giant birthday cake. That's
right.
how it looked to me all the time.
And when there weren't many bubbles, it's like, where's the bubbles?
Right, yeah, when the bubble budget went over to Muppet Vision, that is when I only see Gene Kelly starting the movie
Mhm.
ride in my brain. Correct. So Gene Kelly for both of us over the
Yes.
actors.
I had Wicked Witch of the West and Captain Rex, and I went Captain Rex for that one.
Over Wicked Witch of the West?
Yeah, I know. You know why? Because, spoiler, I also went Mary and Bert over Iago. That is 3 from the Great Movie Ride. I figured I would change it up on one of them where someone competes against the Great Movie Ride.
That is
So
a
that person is going
huge
to be
upset. The
Captain.
Wicked Witch
You
of the
know
West.
why? Because Captain Rex, back in the day, that's some nostalgia there. You know,
I don't know how. I'm curious to see if anyone's gonna be able to beat the Wicked Witch of the West. I don't know which way this is going.
Oh, interesting.
So
Mhm.
that is our second round
Who'd you pick?
picks.
Well, you didn't
Oh,
say your last pick.
it was Mary and Bert. Mary and Bert were
Okay.
Iago.
Okay. All right.
How can I not? From the rooftops of London. So
we did it.
we did it. We made it through. We will add those of you who have submitted. We'll carry. We'll have a new selection to share with everyone next week for the Sweet 16. 16 picks remain. We'll move it down to the quarterfinals, and then we will keep it going with the Elite 8 and then the Final 4. So we got 3 more weeks of these to do. Good. Lewis loves the accent, just so you know.
Yes.
Should we keep the accent?
Sure.
I don't know why it's in full effect today. Gives it a little extra flavor here.
Right.
In the
See, this is my confusion as well. You know, I was a little confused. I'm like, he's not there anymore?
No.
What?
No, 3PO is your pilot.
Mm-hmm. All right. I'm just saying, Lewis was on it when we were texting him, literally texting us from the ride a couple months ago. So I don't know.
I mean, unless every time I've been on Star Tours since the adventure continues, I've had 3PO and never had
maybe.
But my continuity brain says no, you can only have Captain Rex and Ogas. He can't be in 2 places at once. My character integrity is in question.
What is this, Chuck E. Cheese? That's what happened at Chuck E. Cheese. The animatronic was there, and then the Chuck E. Cheese was walking around.
Chuck E. Cheese was when the illusion was broken for me as a child when I followed the costume character into the kitchen and saw him take his head off.
Yikes. Why would you do that? Why did you go into the kitchen?
I didn't know that's what would happen in the kitchen. I was just following him.
Yeah, my 5-year-old was like, how come he's up there? But he's over here. I was like, okay.
There's a lot of debating going on about Captain Rex and where they've seen him and where they haven't.
All right, he is in the pilot. Okay, everyone's in agreement. He's not the pilot anymore. Okay.
So that wraps up this week's Theme Park Thursday live. But now we're going to take it over to DillosDizResort.com. And I will share, because we did discuss the ESPN Club this week on the podcast, I will share with you all my most horrific audition that I ever had while I was living in Florida. I mean, I guess overall in life, I don't think I've ever had a worse audition than that. So that's the story today. We're doing a little more secrets revealed over at the resort for the post-show lives lately. So check us out at Dillos Diz Resort. Of course, you can get your Dillos Madness bracket by emailing us, dillosdiz@gmail.com. You have 1 week left to submit to enter the contests for the Disney gift cards. Tell your friends, tell everyone you know. Make sure you like this video before we all head over to Dillos Diz Resort. Until that time, she's Jen. I'm Frank. Bye-bye.
Deuces.